on to 22, the 222 twice. So we are in a very exciting, very strong energy today. You guys feeling it? I've been feeling it for a few days, and we are sort of calibrating this way forward through our eyes, through each one of our eyes, your eyes, my eyes, the duality lens that each of us has. We are deciding how we're going to calibrate it going forward. Which timeline do we want to choose? Which timeline do you want to choose? Imagine around you this field that is spinning multiple of these around your body. And within this, another shape, hexagonal shape, three-dimensional shape, a Star of David Merkaba shape. And so we have all these points at which an angle creates a timeline. So we are getting to calibrate and choose which timeline we want to be running. So because there's a lot of twos today, that is a lot of relationship energy. So our relationship to our field is one relationship. The inner relationship that we have with ourselves is definitely a key too. And then relationships that we have with one another, our community, our acquaintances, and so forth. And then we have the two that is more intimate, that is family, that is children, that is brothers, sisters, cousins, bloodline. And then we also have our most intimate relationships with our beloved, that relationship. And then we also have an earth and cosmic relationship. We have a relationship with creation self. And finally, we have a relationship with divine source. So creation itself can include earth, the cosmos, the planets, other aspects of beingness. But the source relationship, that is the deepest, most intimate, true relationship that we have with ourselves. So it's like all of these layers of relationship are dialing and calibrating in this polarity game. You know, it's even a portal or a tunnel, if you will, a time tunnel with like twos all around it, like the distance is all the same. We've got like a very geometrically sound portal today with all the twos, mathematically speaking, according to the calendar that we're living in. Of course, if we're living off another calendar, then this date doesn't hold as much significance. So it also is a jump off point from the regular calendar system too. So it's a nice day to begin weaving in like a moon, 13 moon calendar, or if you're following a different calendar or several calendars, this is a nice point at which you can maybe go in and notice the circular revolution and sort of untie yourself from the dualistic polarity paradigm. So this is one exit point for that. So how do we exit that? Why do we? You know, many of us believe, you know, opposition is necessary for us even experiencing and seeing the reality that we are, and it gives us experience and learning and so forth. But as we learn what duality is capable of, and we learn like these high and low, good, bad, you know, dark, light possibilities, if we can but shift our perception, it's not like that landscape changes, but our perception at being at the center and feeling like the ache and pain of the fluctuation between that. If we can shift our perspective so that that is a beautiful experience, that is a dance, instead of this tug of war, this battle inside of ourselves. So this 2-2, 2-2, 2-2, all the twos, is an opportunity to look at the relationship that we have, even with our reality, with duality, the biggest two of all, the good, the bad. So tune in with me, because you actually have 2 channels in your spine, 3, but 2 main ones that is the first thing we take our attention to when doing inner work and connecting with the alchemical potentiality of your being, is to tune into those 2 channels that in Sanskrit are called Ida and Pingala. They are the cool and the warm channel, the blue lunar force that is receptive, that is attractive, or repulsive, that is receptive and repulses, like that part of a battery or a magnet. That is the Jarg, that is depicted as the cooling force, the calming force. And then we have the red, the dynamic, the more Martian, you know, I didn't use the feminine word before, but feminine and masculine are these 2 energies too, the blue and the red, the cooling water and the igniting flame. That is activity, that is moving out in the world. We have both of these, and we also call them our right and left hemispheres of our brain. One is more logical, one is more artistic, but they're actually both part of us. You know, humanity has gone through funny phases where we're like, oh yeah, I'm mostly left brain or mostly right brain, but actually you're both. It's just the way that we relate to ourselves and all of our parts. So this is an awesome day to connect with the whole self, your logical and your more creative, intuitive self. Logical would be tied to the actually red energy, that's solar in the body, that's the activity of the mind and also action in the world, this force that allows us to think and structure and do. That's one part of us. And then we have the creative, intuitive, that's more spiritual and within, and is connected to the magic, and is the muse, and waits and listens and receives. So when we can bring these together in ourselves, which this portal is a big invitation to do, that will be reflected in all the other 2s. Because this inner relationship is the template. So let's do that right now. Let's close the left nostril and let's breathe in through the right, all the way up to the forehead center. And then you're going to close the right and exhale out the left nostril. Then inhale left, up to the forehead, close and exhale right. Inhale, exhale. So continue this alternate nostril breathing. First you'll clear out some physical stuff. But this opens these alternating channels, these alternating currents of this red, pranic, masculine, energetic energy, and this cooling, receptive, feminine, intuitive mind self, and they begin to work together. And they begin to complement each other within your very being. And so you might have a plan that you also honor if it might need to be altered slightly, intuitively speaking. Or you're on an important call, but you feel a family member is needing your attention, so you want to honor both, and you bring it to a place where both can be honored. Or you have a magical inspiration, a vision about something, and then you write the steps down to enact them in your life and in your experience. So I'm giving a very special offer out in this live. This is for new clients who have not worked with me at all. I'm really wanting to give people an idea, a little taste about what it is like to do some of this work with me one-on-one. That's as part of me growing my relationships outside of myself. So my idea is, hey, how do I want to do that? I want to grow my relationships, meet more people, share the work so that this message gets out and more people are feeling more empowered in themselves. And I want to see this world, transform. So my gift is for new clients, along with this 22222 day in Portal, is for only $22, a new person, $22 and a referral of 2 other people who might be interested in doing this sampler session with me for $22 and 2 referrals. So 2 and 2. You will receive a 22-minute little smattering of the work that I do. So this will include a short reading, a short emotion code session, a little bit of ancestral and shadow work, just to give you a taste of what we do so you can feel some of the effects and experience the processes that I guide people through, to see if there's anything there for you, to see if there's anything that touches in that would be helpful to you, and otherwise just to share that beautiful moment with as many of you as I can. So I'm opening this up through this 22222 portal, and whenever you get this message, you can go to my website, go to blissinthehouse.com, and sign up for my newsletter, okay? My newsletter will generate for you a feedback place where you can connect with me. So get on the newsletter. If you are already on the newsletter, you will get a newsletter with a way to connect in this way, or you can always send me an email, stesiabliss@gmail, and say, I saw the 22 deal, the 22 deal. So get that started if you would like that. I am going to post it, so you'll see that offer again. But let's pull a few cards now. And actually I'm going to pull 2 runes for this portal for everybody. So, what 2 runes, and I've got them here, will best describe what this 222 portal is bringing in for the collective? What is the best description? So I've got 2. Wow, this is intense. From the runes. Knas, and then an upside down. I always get this one and another one mixed up. I think it's the Manes. I remember their meaning, but sometimes, yeah, Manes. So this one upside down. Okay, so Kanaz is the illumination rune. So this period is an enlightenment process, an illumination of Manaz is basically speaking of a relationship in this upright position. The relationship that is so close, it is like horse and rider. It is like being with the spiritual higher self intact. One that is very much in alignment with oneself, cooperative energy. So when it shows up upside down, this period is a time of illumination or calling out those who are out of integrity with spirit, out of alignment, and out of cooperation with that greater relationship. Yeah, it's illuminating the interference with that beautiful cooperative force. So the illumination, I love it. Let's get 2 Gateways of Light activations from the Gateway of Light Oracle deck, Kyle Gray. Some beautiful work here. What 2 portals are opening here for the collective during this 2-2-2-2-2 time? The first one is the Heart of Source activation. So just feel that going into all of humanity. Pulsing from the heart of Source is coming through this. An all-encompassing love, unconditional acceptance, and serenity. Very beautiful. And the second part of this activation, I feel like it's one of these. The Sword of Light. Divine protection, cutting cords, and breakthrough energy. And so because of that, coming with this one, a lot of this is around relationships, especially our intimate, heartfelt relationships, and getting really clear about which ones are divine and which ones need to have the cords cut. It can be a painful time to bring this energy through, but it allows the heart center to open even more. Just feel those activations. I feel like the sword is very penetrating, sometimes a little painful during this time. Things might be said or needed to be felt that are painful, like stabbing into a wound again. But the point is to get to the love. So that feels more like intimate relationships, where the runes felt more like the collective. So let's ask from the crystal oracles here now what 2 crystals represent and are standing guardian at this particular 2's gateway, holding the frequency of this gateway together. What can we expect to see in our own lives and out into the collective as well? Wow, there it is again. Tiger's Eye is the empowerment. So again, it's kind of like the enlightenment, the illumination, the empowerment. I mean, this is my whole deal. I'm here for the empowerment of humanity and the illumination of humanity. That's why I am incarnate. So during this 222, we are getting, wow, the Golden Healer. This came up in a reading just for someone I did last night. And so this theme is, again, here, that this is bringing a super huge wave of empowering healing, especially in our relationships and in our relationships with the divine, how we relate to the divine. Divine in ourselves, in our partnerships, in the world. Okay, now I'm going to pull from the I Ching. I feel this is kind of important because I personally have felt that the certain country where these originate from, there's some questionable acts going there, including through the venue of the very athletic events that have just passed recently, and you know what I'm talking about. There's been some question of like complete stiflement of divinity over there, like very on the opposite end of the divine connection. So I want to ask the rune or the hexagrams, the I Ching, what cycle have we been in that we are moving out of? What is the cycle we've been in that we're moving out of? And it's 11. And what are we changing to? What is humanity in the process of changing to? Like, what is this cycle, this energy, this prana, what is the breath doing in our system right now? 3. Okay, so let me read what that is. I don't have these memorized yet. Peace. This is an interesting one. Where we have been, where the energy has been. Above earth, below heaven. Heaven and earth unite. A peaceful paradise. In winter, peace is found through rest. In spring, peace is found through action. Heaven influences earth through the cycle of seasons, and all living things prosper by harmonizing with them. Thus, the wise person finds peace by finding heaven within his or her own earthly being. Wow. I mean, I have reflected on this recently, that before the whole last 2 years, from 2020 till now, before that time, many people were not aware enough to, even myself, like I remember like feeling like still the beautiful golden age was to come, and that we were in sort of like the difficult, hard times before that. And yet now we've reached a season in humanity the past 2 years of great hardship, and even like times of war that are more on all of our own front porch rather than in distance. You know, if you've been able to have the life of social media and YouTube and all this stuff, then you've kind of not been living in the harsh reality. So what this card is saying is peace has been available. Peace has been available, is available, but it really comes up to the person that's finding the peace within themselves already. That heaven has always existed there. And the time that we're coming into, interestingly enough, with 3, hexagram 3 is above water and below thunder, which means difficulty at the beginning. Water over thunder, the storm relieves tension. Thunderclouds release rain that eases tension caused by chaos or confusion. As a new undertaking begins, it sometimes takes a release of pent-up stress to push on to the next step. Thunder can't hold water above it. The rain must fall. In the storm's aftermath, new clarity will emerge. So I'm actually even seeing this relationship-wise, because maybe we don't see it as much in the world, even though, like I said, I did feel before this whole thing started that in retrospect, that peaceful time was already. But in relationships, so if you're watching this, you could have been in a relationship that you're maintaining this level of peace, like not wanting to disrupt, really just keeping the peace, you know. But there comes some difficulty at the beginning that can seem chaotic when a new energy is coming in and must be integrated, when you really realize you have to change certain things, or like to be true to yourself, and in these new energies you have to transform some part of your life. And so this hexagram is speaking to, there is a beginning, it is a new beginning in love, especially when it speaks about the severing there. That sometimes part of the difficulty, or sorry, speaking of the clarity, which to me is the swords in the tarot, and the sword also showing up, like the clarity can sometimes be what causes a bit of chaos, at a new beginning, because it does cause you have to tear away or cut away some of what seemed like was peace before. It may have seemed like it was. I've got my background no copyright chimes going, and I love them. So if it's you that's been in a relationship that has been like under the guise of peace, but there are some changes that need to take place, it doesn't always mean the severing of the relationship, but it can mean severing of the old way of being in that relationship, and that you have to kind of do a clean cut, and that can feel harsh. It can even feel like an ending, because it is an ending. But not all endings are complete wipeouts. Some endings are just making room for the begin again. And if it is meant to be, then it will begin again. After the energy clears, the thunder passes, so to speak, the healing vibes from heart source come in and, like illuminate where we've been disconnected from spirit, where we've been disconnected from cooperating. We're illuminating that in the wholeness, and we're illuminating that within each one of us, where we've been disconnected, where we haven't been being the good writer, or like working together as a team, maybe. So let's pull from the tarot now. I would love to see 2 cards to symbolize what's coming through this gateway from the perspective of the tarot. I've got this piece of hair stuck in here. Okay, there's 2 cards. Oh, maybe these 2. This is beautiful. 4 of Pentacles, Ace of Rods. This is like a brand new and newly inspired stability. Physical, manifest, stable thing that's coming in. And the 4, of course, is in the 2 twos. It's really, really beautiful. Ace of Rods, Ace is the beginning. So again, before the new beginning or at the new beginning, some difficulty. But this is showing beautiful stability, structure, awareness of what's happening in the physical realm, and is inspired. It's inspired. To me, this is just a really lovely energy. It's like a hand from the heavens. Like it's one thing to look at the sky and think that there's peace, but to endure the maybe chaotic moment of like visually seeing a hand pop out of the clouds with a giant rod and it handed to you, that disruptive moment where your reality is shattered, but you get this new reality given to you, that chaos can be worth it. If it's like a destroying of a simpler mindset, in this case, less access to life force energy, because this is also the rod that is your spine, the sacred life force energy, and really getting a handle on the lower chakras too, the lower energy centers that ground you in your body. And that's an empowering symbol too. The disc is the empowerment, the sun energy. So let's see, is there anything else that wants to come out for this reading? I think we're going to pull also 2 animal guards from this animal totem deck, the Divine Animals Oracle by Stacey DeMarco. I like this deck also. There's some beautiful like stories and myths and factoids about animals, but I'm really just going to ask for this portal of the 2s today. which animal guardians are guiding the way collectively in our relationships, relationship with the whole, the interrelationships, the whole relationship spectrum. One is the gorilla. Look at that peace again. Peacefulness came in the first hexagram, hexagram 11. The heaven on earth, peace. And then the shark, the purpose. Having purpose. Interesting. I love how peace shows up again, because it makes me think of the hexagram, not really speaking of linear time, but speaking like, hey, the peace is already there. It's just waiting to be observed and discovered. This is also, now there's two, there's quite a few beings in here, but there's a shark and there's a mer here. One you could see as the most vulnerable, maybe feminine, and this would be more like the aggressor, the masculine energy. So going with purpose into our relationships, and really knowing what we're after, while we're also able to see that this too is peace, no matter what's showing up. The gorilla suggests too, we also have the strength to fight, but sometimes it's better just to emanate. Okay, I love it. I'm gonna just leave us with one herb as our medicine, taking through this portal, just one herb as our medicine to encapsulate this whole read from the 222, this understanding that we are balancing right and left, hemispheres of the brain, nostrils. We are balancing duality in all of its ways through this portal, which shows up in our relationships most of all, because they are most reflective. And we get indigo, enhance. What an interesting oracle to get around this 222. Enhance, things being enhanced, things being lit up, things being, I'm getting the word saturated, saturation, like if you're fixing a photo, you increase the saturation. This energy is enhancing our relationships. And allow the enhancement, allow ourselves to see it more in full color, so we can be empowered as to what is being illuminated, as the runes say, illuminating where the misconnects are, so we can move through the healing energy that's offered and feel empowered by it, that we can find the new stability that's coming through. So that new stability, of course, is going to manifest in ourself first. So even just tune in today, tonight, with this energy sometime, and do feel like 2 in partnership is a 4, again is a 6, again is an 8, 10, 12. So we've got this whole structure and its solidity, its strength, and this new life force coming in to enliven us. So even our physical bodies are being renewed. We're going through a process of renewal. We're going through a process of restabilizing in the new energies, so that we can connect to this heart of love, this heart of source. All right, I hope this has been a healing adventure to tune in here. Thank you for joining me. I do love to look at these numbers and these interesting events. If you would like to jump into the 22 for 22 deal, for $22 and 2 referrals to somebody who would also like to do this for $22, you can have 22 minutes of sampler pack reading, emotion code, ancestral healing, and shadow work with yoga for 22 minutes, specialized for you. So send me an email, stasiabliss@gmail.com. Remember, this is for new clients only. If you've never worked with me before, send me, I want the 22 deal, and we'll get in conversation. You can also text me at 503 560-4728. Text me the 22 deal and I'll get in conversation with you about how to get you onto that. And we can do a personal look at what's going on for you with these energies. Okay, I'm so happy that you joined me today. Thank you so much. It's such an honor and a blessing. And much love to you. And we'll see you next time.